There can be no greater cultural difference in the whole world, perhaps, than the way the Swedes live their lives and the way people from the Middle East live theirs. The Swedes, of course, are famously introspective, quiet. You can see it in the streets of this town. They're deserted even in the middle of the day. And of course, in the Middle East, life is lived in the streets. The Arabs are an extremely convivial, congenial people. It suggests perhaps that these two cultures will not get along very well in Sweden. And so far, at least, it is true that the two sides are not mixing very much.
I think there's a little problem now not between Swedish people and the foreigners, it's mostly between foreigners, the old foreigners and new foreigners. The Swedish people, they are not racist, but they are afraid for make contact with the foreigners, because for them it's something new. They don't know it.
They come from an extremely different culture. A lot of them are from Syria, Iraq, they come from war. How difficult is it to integrate such people?
Normally Swedish people, they are not so social to make contacts. They meet in different way that the people from ASEAN or Africa meet. That contact is very small. So that make it that take a lot of time, 5, 6, 10 years maybe, to integrate the Swedish society. Every day will be lucky. The mostly not. We have a lot of places in Sweden with segregated people. In every town you can find a place which people, foreigners living together.
The rise of right-wing anti-immigration politicians also troubles LOTTA HASLAM, who works with many of the newcomers from Syria and elsewhere.
It does scare me a little bit. It does scare me. But I think, it's like I said before, I think we need more education. We need to know more. We need to mix more with each other than we do today.
What happens if they form a government?
I don't know. I hope not.
Eddie Ek is a councillor in Åstorp for the anti-immigration Swedish Democratic Party, whose popularity in the polls has been soaring.
We are not racist. Our racists hate people because of the color of the skin, and we don't hate any people. We think, the immigration to Sweden is big. Like 100,000 people a year. It's very many, and it's, it take our money, they do crimes, and it's not because they're immigrants, it's because the flow is so big into Sweden. And we want to, lower the income of the immigrants to Sweden to like 10,000, so we can make them a part of the Swedish society, and that is not racist.
What are the relations like in this town between all the newcomers, about 25% of the population, and what you might call the Swedish population, at least the Swedes who have been here for generations?
I don't think there are any relationship at all between the groups. I think the Swedes are a little, afraid to go out on the evening when they will meet gang, maybe got robbed. So the relationship between both the group is very bad.
As a public school teacher, Lisa Adelquist sees the strains firsthand. Her 29 students come from 13 countries. Only a handful of them are ethnic Swedes.
I can understand if they need to come here and they need help because it's so very difficult to live in their countries. But we need to spread them up in whole Sweden, so they are coming to different places, I think.
And do your friends have stronger opinions about this than you do?
Yes, my friends can have stronger opinions.
And are they positive or negative?
Most of them are negative, but there are also friends who are positive, of course.
And do you think the kids in your school that you teach feel Swedish?
Yes, they feel Swedish, yes.
Rosengard, which is a suburb of nearby Malmö, has the look and feel of the Middle East. That is not surprising, given that more than 80% of the population speaks Arabic. Nevertheless, the Swedes still have an impressive cultural influence here. I chanced upon 2 teenage Muslim girls playing soccer with several boys about their own age and having a great time doing so. Now that is something you would never see in most places in the Islamic world.